Dear students, today I'll be conducting a session on project management. So I greet all of you for my lectures. What is project management all about? That is what we are going to learn in the first session, and there onwards I'll take you to various responsibilities and roles that is played by a project manager and what all tools and technique a project manager needs to be aware of. Now initially, what is this project manager? Who is a project manager? So I feel all of you whom you are the audience of this lecture can be the project managers for tomorrow. Who exactly is a project manager? That we need to understand, and can everybody be a project manager? Any kind of work that is limited with respect to some time and that needs proper scheduling, management of resources, and at the end it takes you towards some achievable goal. Any kind of this work is nothing but a project. Project is always temporary in nature. Unlike the day-to-day organization work people are doing, a project manager has to look into different areas every time whenever he comes across a project. He has to deal with a different situation. He has to get the work done from the limited resources, human resources and machine, whatever are available for his project. And there onwards, he has to take the project ahead by properly scheduling for the project and getting it complete in time. So as not day-to-day work that is done by people working in probably any production unit or maybe in a sales department of a company, a project manager and his team play altogether a different role, as not done by people who are doing some mandatory work. Now, why do we need a project manager? That is the first question that may be coming to your mind. Why can't a manager do the work of a project manager, and how a manager, a general manager is different than a project manager? What are the aspects where the project manager has to look be thinking about? When I was working in a software company, I was very comfortable working there in a company, working on several software projects. I was comfortable probably because of the environment, because of the way the project manager would tackle with the project. So, what exactly is project management? As you must be aware of that in today's world, the requirements do not remain the same. They keep changing with respect to change in time. So now, to work in today's environment, we need some constant ongoing implementations. Now, this project management is nothing but a mindset and environment. It's a disciplined approach to managing the work and all kind of chaos that goes in the work environment. Project management also provides a framework for working amidst persistent changes. So from here, I take you to an organization wherein the day-to-day culture is that the programmer is doing his work, and it's a pair programming approach used in the programming environment where two people are sharing the work, and all of a sudden a big man comes into and inquires about what work is going on, how much work has been done, and when the programmer turns back, he finds it's nobody else but it's the project manager. So initially, the programmer, being appointed as a fresher, got a little scared about that the project manager is standing exactly at the back of the programmer without his own knowledge. He got little scared about that, project manager. So from the word project manager, you understand it's a big designation paying you a lump sum huge amount of money, right? But now, is a project manager somebody to be scared of about? So that is not the thing. Project manager is as good as one of the team players, as good as a team leader. His entire concern is to get the pre-planned work, to get it executed in time by creating an environment which is a soothing environment for the entire organization and people associated within, to get this work done in time and to fulfill the customer's requirements as what the customer is expecting. Now, when we talk about projects, why projects are always temporary in nature? Why can't projects be permanent? The thing is that projects are always associated with a time frame, because unlike day-to-day work, project always involves evolution or innovation in terms of either a new product or a new service, and if nothing, then a new result that was initially not available. And that is where all projects have got different objectives to be attained within specific time limits. Project management is as a result of some research, all of a sudden a new requirement of the customer that cannot be fulfilled by day-to-day working culture, the way the people work in the organization by providing their day-to-day services. If the customer's need is not satisfied, at that point of time, project management comes into picture. Now, when we talk about a project manager, very first, the project manager himself should be a disciplined person. His approach within himself has to be disciplined. Very next, a project manager needs to have some leadership qualities within himself. Third, he needs to be a very good communicator. He should be able to tackle with the customer's requirements as well as he should be able to tackle with the management and find out a path, a mid path in between, so that the management as well as the customer is satisfied with their requirements. At the same time, the project manager also needs to schedule for the entire project. Once he gets the project in hand, he has to schedule for the project. He has to manage available resources. And last but not the least, project manager also needs to have fine understanding of finance and budgets associated with the project. So what we have learned is a project manager needs to be self-disciplined. He needs to have leadership qualities in himself. After that, he has to be a very good team player. He need not let the team feel that he is a manager and who is ruling on the team, but he needs to be a part of the team all the time and a wonderful motivation provider for the team. At the same time, he should be able to communicate, negotiate with the customers as well as with his own management to satisfy both of them with respect to their requirements. Next part, what we learned about a project manager is a project manager needs to schedule for his project. He needs to manage the resources, men and machine effectively, and he has to see to it that the project is complete with respect to given available time. With all these things now, the project manager need not be a very intelligent person, but definitely he has to be jack of all, need not be master of one, but he needs to be jack of all. He should have all these qualities inbuilt with him and make use of the qualities as needed with respect to as the situation occurs. So the project manager plays a wide role in terms of development of the projects. When it comes to projects, project can be as good as a railway track construction or a roadway construction or construction of a new set of buildings. It can be construction of a software. It can be launch of a set of theaters or hotels. It can be related to developing and upcoming new education hubs, developing the courseware for that education hub. So it can be related to any domain. May that be construction, may that be communication, may that be education, may that be hoteling, may that be hospital management, may that be hospitality management. So all the domains require project managers to work on their projects as they arrive with respect to time. So the organizations keep working with their own respect. They keep working, providing their day-to-day services, but any special service that arises with respect to the time, that service needs to be attained by implementing the right type of project. And at the end of it, the project manager is the whole sole responsible person, a mediator that has to get this work done. So what a project manager needs to know. All of you can be project managers. We all are managers of our own life when we talk about, when we see our parents, when we see our grandparents, they have managed so many different situations that have come across throughout the life. So all of us are project managers, right? We do have some skills inborn with us. So while learning this subject, you are not learning anything new, but what additional to you will learn is making use of the right techniques, making use of the right tools, and making use of the right quality that you already have within yourselves, but what to make use of at what situation, how to behave in what situation, and how to get the work done by being a part of the team and not getting work done by any team whom you are heading. So first difference that you should understand what a project manager is in today's world, as of not in the looking into the traditional definition of a project manager. Project manager has to be a wonderful team player. And believe me, looking into number of research that has been done in the market, in particular in the software market, the project manager who is an effective team player has been a more successful project manager compared to an aristocratic and a very passionate project manager who has all leadership qualities but has been found enough dominating within the team. We will go through some case studies we will go through some small role plays wherein you will yourself learn how to become a project manager within yourself. The first part in the process of project management is creation of a project charter. Now, what is project charter? So, project charter is as good as, do you all people at least make use of diary, a planner, right? So, everybody plans for his work. Everybody plans, students plan for their studies, mothers plan for how to bring their children, okay, and I should say the Prime Minister plans for how to take the country ahead with in next 1 year. So, a lot of strategic plans he needs, right? So, similar to that, a project charter comes into picture. It's a document that is created by the project manager. And obviously, it's going to be a software document, right? So, this charter is created so as to plan for and so as to look into the general rules, regulations, roles to be played by the entire team associated with respect to the project. A project has a definite beginning, it has a definite end, and when the project begins, the team assembles. By team, I mean team of human resources, team of some other resources, technological team. It can be machines, right? So all these are coming together. They are getting assembled together. They are going to work together. End of it, the objective of the project is attained. And gradually, the project closes. When the project closes down, the closure phase of the project, the entire team will disassemble. Okay, it will deassemble. So by that, I mean the next upcoming project till it arrives, some people from the team may work on the project, may not work on the project. So every project may have its own different team every time. So as we move from a project to another project, what we find is the team that plays role in a project may not be the same as the team that plays role in a new project. How to choose people in a project is a big skill of the project manager. A project manager may not manage a single project at a given point of time, but a project manager may manage large projects, multiple projects at a given point of time. It is his entire skill that remains looking into his own experience, his own work experience, to choose the right kind of people to work within his team. Here what we find is the project manager has got a lot of choice to choose people within his team. That's the advantage of working on projects, as not while you are working in any organization working with the processes. So a project manager is obviously provided with large number of choices, because here the motto is to fulfill the objective of the project by hook or by crook. So making use of the right people, the right resources, the right environment is of course going to make the project more successful. Now the project appears to be a big work to be done, the big task to be done, right? So now here the project manager also has to break the entire work to be accomplished in the project. He has to break down that work into smaller units, assign the smaller units of work to different people and machine for a specific time at specific cost. Now this is the second tool that the project manager should learn about. It is about the work breakdown structure. So how to break down the entire work to be accomplished in the project into smaller units. How to assign the right type of work to the right type of person and the right type of resources to be associated with respect to the work to be done. This tool is work breakdown structure, creation of work breakdown structure. That is another tool the project manager should be well equipped with. Thirdly, he should be very much well to do with and well aware of different scheduling tools with respect to scheduling of the project, scheduling of resources, and even scheduling of cost. By that I mean, at what point of time should he spend how much of money. End of it, the last tool the project manager should be aware of is budgeting for the entire project. Every project is associated with some estimated cost. Every project is further associated with some budgeted value that is already sanctioned for that project. How to match the estimated value of the project with the budgeted value? It's a big skill the project manager should know about. And as I told you earlier, the project manager has to be little good at managing finances as well. He should know where to do the cost cuttings and where to make use of which resource for how much of time at the cost of how much of rupees, how much of dollars, or whatsoever the currency value. When we look at the project life cycle, the entire of project life cycle looks into a lot of things. A project can have a little of distrust in the beginning. The team members may feel, can I really do this? And in the beginning, when any idea comes into picture, and that is where the project comes into existence, so as to fulfill the idea in mind, there is of course every time in the beginning a distrust with respect to the beginning of the project. But as the project manager and the team together start working on the project and start sailing in the boat, the wide sea, they find there are a lot of excitements there, right? They feel, yes, I can do it. A little later, now there are little of astonishments wherein they feel, fine, I can do it, but how will I do it? So now, yes, I can do it, and from there the question comes, I can do it, but how? So some time needs to be spent on answering the question of how. And after spending that much of time, yes, they find the next phase of enthusiasm where they feel that, yes, I got hold of the flow, and yes, this is how I can do it. And yes, now I can do it. Finally, they fall in love with the project and they feel, yes, they are part of the project, and wonderful. But as the process goes on, sometimes in the mid of the construction, in mid of the code of any software, there is a lot of disillusionment, and definitely there is little of fright while working on any programs. Are they going to work properly, and why the testing is giving you so many of errors? And yes, there is again a horror that comes into picture. There is a fury, there is a frustration at the end, and somehow the project gets over. And definitely when the project ends as good as, there was a lot of distrust when we started with the project for whether can I do it, and the end of it is a boost in the confidence. But definitely you have taken a lot of efforts, a lot of labor, and so it ends with you feel like, yes, now I can sleep sound, right? So these are various phases. So what did you get from this picture? The project is as good as tides in the water, high tides and low tides and high tides. Everything begins with a low tide, then a high tide, gradually goes down to a low tide, and yes, it goes on, and some other point of time the tides are over, you are done with the work, you are free. What does a project give you at the end then? The project gives you a boost in your confidence. It gives you a wonderful experience of working on a different aspect as you did not work earlier. Working on projects, people who are working on projects, they are really lucky than people who are working on the typical, production units doing the day-to-day work. People who are working on projects, they are as good as people who are working in the R&D departments, wherein you are every time with respect to a new project, you are getting a new challenge to be accomplished, okay? And once you take up the challenge, and once you go through this whole mess of tides, the high and low tides, once you are done with it, oh yes, you feel that you have achieved something. When you are working on projects, with respect to every project, you are learning something new as you did not learn earlier. Now the question is, as I said, projects need to be temporary in nature, and projects always have to deliver a unique product, a unique service, or a unique result. Now, is it really possible for all projects to work in a unique way? Is it possible? Yes, it is very much possible. How? This uniqueness can come into picture. It can be brought into picture by looking into similar projects that are existing and adding new features to the projects. And that is where I feel that every projects are unique in their own nature. You must be using ATM cards and must be withdrawing money from different ATMs. Have you seen ATM center of any two banks to be the same? Obviously not. You will not find it, because developing a software for both these ATM centers was a different project. It was handled by a different team, by a different project manager. So end of it, what did we learn is, with respect to the temporary nature of the project needs to be unique in terms of adding new features or changing the internal procedures of the project. We have seen road constructions across the country. A roadway that is generally seen in a small city is different than that seen in a metro city, and the highway projects are different than that of the expressway project. So with respect to time, technology upgrades, and that is how again we can bring new features to the existing projects. So this is the whole story of project management, temporary work associated with respect to any domain that creates a unique product, service, or result. Projects are temporary in nature, means they may get over in some days, they may get over in some months, but can projects really exist for couple of years, maybe 7 years, 10 years projects? Yes, they can exist, right? So countrywide projects, whatever are taking place, a generation of unique identity for every citizen of India. It's a challenging project. So projects, while their execution goes on, they can be further broken down into multiple phases, wherein as we move from a phase to another phase, we achieve an objective. And as we move from a phase to another phase, we see that we are exploring the project up to some more extent as we did not do in the prior phase. Projects can be social in nature as well. Now this whole thing that we saw, that the projects, when they are broken down into different phases, we see that every phase there is a success factor added to the project. Every phase carries something additional to the project. Every phase explores the project in more depth. Likewise, when you reach the last phase, when the entire project is done, all objectives with respect to the projects are done, and the project cannot be further explored at this point of time. But maybe after a couple of years, there may come a need to explore these current projects that you feel are now over, and then they have gone through different phases and are enough explored, but they can still be explored over a period of time. And like this, the entire business of project management, it's an ongoing business. It goes on for years and years, and I should say it has no end. So this whole process is called progressive elaboration of project, where a project is broken down into multiple phases, and every phase you feel that something new is attained, and you have explored more while doing the project, working on a different phase of the project. Let us take a very small example of a socio-economic project. A team of socio-economics, they feel that around 500 people from the lower income group in a particular community X of a city, a particular area of a city, they need to be provided with food and shelter. So initially these socio-economists, they felt that let us do some social work and let us provide them the basic facility of food and shelter. This is the first phase of the project. In the second phase, they change their objective to providing food and shelter to 500 people who belong to the weaker class, the lower weaker class, and not financially sufficient enough. So now, the second phase of the project, they have chosen how many people? 500 people of community X residing in a particular city. So we saw that there is progressive elaboration as what work they did in the first phase. The second phase, their objective is little bit changed, and that is taking them near to their goal. And how? So let us look into it. So as I said, these are socio-economists, okay? So they have to take care that they are providing some socio service to the community. At the same time, they are helping to boost the economy of that particular community. So in the third phase of this project, they take up a large project of improving the agriculture and the water facility within that area by utilizing these 500 people whom they wanted to initially help. But in the third phase, they are making these 500 people self-sufficient. So that's where, and that's how, with respect to time, you find that there is progressive elaboration in the project. They simply wanted to help 500 people with water and shelter, and in the third phase, they have made these 500 people self-sufficient by making them work and utilizing their skills in the agricultural area and growing up the agriculture sector of that particular area in the city. So this is what is a project. So isn't it exciting working on projects? Now the very first assignment that you all have to do is simply, all of you are working, so you have to interview the project manager of your company. In every company, definitely there is a project manager, or there is a person who plays the role of a project manager. What you have to do is, you have to interview this person and make a summary of what you learned out of the interview. I'll give you some guidelines for how to conduct the interview of this project manager. Initially, let this interview be a very kind of informal interview, because you are a part of the organization working with the same project manager. Try to understand roles and responsibilities which are played by this project manager. Try to understand what all hurdles he has come across while working on different projects. Try to understand how did he resolve conflicts within the resources. Try to understand how did he play the role of being a wonderful leader for the team and inspire the leader and motivate the leader. Try to understand what tools he has used to schedule for the project. And at the end of it, try to learn something from his own personal experience, the most difficult phase that he has been across as in his life of being a project manager. And that is where you will get a better picture of who is a project manager. And definitely I am looking for from everybody of you to be great project managers of the future. In the next lecture, we will learn on some tools that are used in the scheduling phase of the project, and I'll further take you to the project life cycle. So I would thank all of you and hope to see you again for my next lecture. Thank you.